Hello, 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 everyone, and I'm so glad that you guys are joining us tonight. We are in the new year, 2018, and so it's January 3rd, and we're kickstarting the year off with an awesome topic this month. So for the month of January, it's going to be our Let's Talk Business month, and so each week you guys will get a chance to listen in, and we'll have some business professionals on sharing some success tips and their stories. Um, just to get those creative juices flowing, just to plant those seeds, that mindset of faith, so we can step out and make some necessary decisions for our life and turn things around for 2018. So tonight I have a guest that I think is just super, super awesome. Mr. Charles, are you on the line with us tonight?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. So good to be here. Thank you for allowing me to come.
Yes, of course. I mean, of course. And let me just say this: you are a pastor, correct?
That's correct.
And the name of your church is the Well Church here out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's right, the Well Church.
Awesome. And so tonight, I just have, well, let me just say this, you guys. I'm coming live to y'all from off the road. So me and Mr. Charles in North Carolina, I don't know what the weather's like where you're at, but the weather here is kind of upside down. And if anybody's in the South, they already know a little bit of snow just changes the whole ball game for everything.
That's right.
So Pastor Johnson, if I have it correct, I'm just with I'm going to give a few things about your background because you have this amazing background, and I'm going to let you kind of go in detail and elaborate some. But you were raised in a military home, if I have it correct.
That's correct. Yeah, my dad.
All right.
My dad was a command sergeant major for the 82nd Airborne for 28 years. So I've been all over the country, all over the world. I am officially a military brat.
Awesome. And you know, just in regards to your dad, we thank him for his service to our country. We always take time to thank those who have put in that time and just put that life on the line for our country and for other lives and for other people. But your mom was a teacher, is that correct?
That's correct. She was a teacher. She actually started out, however, in the cafeteria. So when I was like in kindergarten, first grade maybe, I would walk into the cafeteria and there would be my mama. And so she went from the cafeteria, she went back to school and got her teaching certificate, and she went on to start teaching from there.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty amazing when you think about that transition of, you know, you said from the cafeteria to actually becoming a teacher. She went back to school.
Yeah, she went back to school. And I remember watching her at the kitchen table studying. I remember the day she graduated. We all went to her graduation and watching her walk across the stage. And I remember going to her first classroom. And, of course, then I was a very young child, but I remember her introducing me to some of her students. And every so often she may bring a student home to do homework or something. So that was really, really amazing to watch her go from being in a cafeteria to now she's teaching other students. So that was great.
That's awesome. It's kind of funny though because my mom actually a teacher and my dad was in the service as well, and so I get it, and so he's out here in Texas. He's out there in Texas right now. He's retired. He's retired from the service and everything. But just to dig a little bit more and share a little bit more about you. So I understand that you were raised in Lumberton, and you were raised in Lumberton, and you were raised in Texas. And so, what was it like? What was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Lumberton? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Lumberton? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Lumberton? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Lumberton? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Lumberton? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Texas? And what was it like growing up in Tex So you kind of excelled there academically and leadership wise and
Yeah,
athletically.
well, Lumberton was is where I grew up. I was actually born in Madison, Wisconsin, and Lumberton was my mother's hometown. So when my father was stationed in Fort Bragg, he just moved to where she was after retiring,
Right.
and I grew up there. But Lumberton is like my foundation. Lumberton is where I learned everything from leadership to public speaking, teamwork. When it comes to athletics, I was in student government. I was in the marching band. I played football, basketball. I'm not football, not basketball, but football and baseball. So whenever I go home to Lumberton, it's like putting on those good, comfortable old run over sweatpants. It's just comfortable. You feel at home. You feel safe. So Lumberton is that for me. And anytime I get the chance to go home, either to do public speaking or to minister or whatever, it's a joy for me too. And I like taking my kids around to see where I grew up and the high school I went to, and show them the picture of me on the wall. I'm in the Hall of Fame at my school. So they see my picture up there in my football uniform, and so it's good. It's good going home. I love my hometown.
That's awesome. Lumberton, North Carolina. I've been there a few
Yeah.
times, and got some family that way too. But it's been a while. But there are some great people there, and everybody I met from that area is great, and including you as well. And so I understand that even just coming out of Lumberton, and finishing up school there, you went on to the chew tobacco spit. I'm not gonna finish that, but if anybody goes to say, they know how that one goes. And so it's okay that you chose Salem State over A&T and over Central. Because
yeah.
I'm an Eagle, and so you know how that goes between different schools and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, so you went off to Winston-Salem State, and from there, it seems like some things kind of took off for you. You kind of got more into that entrepreneurial state and started heading into some directions and some positions. Dealing with different things and music and companies, kind of started some of that journey to get you to where you're at today.
Oh yeah, and to anybody that's listening, everybody starts from zero. I don't care who you are. I don't care, even if you are given certain things like money or access, you're still starting from zero, and so my beginnings were very, very humble. When I started working with the record company, I started doing it for free. I was really more like almost like an intern, really. And just over time, I was able to prove myself. And eventually they asked me to come on to do some real record business type work. And all of the things I've done, I've done something similar to you. I had a radio show, I had a video show, and all these things were just small little beginnings of where I am right now. But again, everybody starts from zero. Everybody starts from nothing. So you don't have to start out being the big shot. You don't have to start out knowing everything. You don't have to start out even knowing everybody. But that grows. It happens. And you got to allow yourself to, to make the mistakes. You got to allow yourself to not know, because you don't know what you don't know. So you got to be okay with not knowing. But it's the people that are waiting for everything to be perfect. Those individuals are the ones that never get anything done. But it's people like yourself. You're willing to put yourself out there, and we're going to improve as we go. So that's really how I got my start. And even when it came to the ministry, when it came to business, when it came to mountain movers, all this stuff, I didn't wait for it to be perfect. You know, even Apple will put out an iPhone knowing that there are bugs in it, knowing that there's something wrong with it. But their philosophy is, we're going to put out the best we can put out right now, and we'll fix the bugs along the way. So I encourage anybody, especially in this new year, don't let yourself get caught up in, it's got to be perfect before I do it.
That's amazing that you would say that, because I think that's a lot of times what happens, just from the standpoint of outside looking in. And so a lot of times as it pertains to business and different things, we go, oh, this is nice, and we see the office, we see the car, we see the CEOs, but you have to realize, but you know, a lot of times people don't realize that there was a process, or these are the things that I did, or these are the things that the assignments that I took with no pay, long hours before I kind of got to this position. Or, yeah, I might have been given, the funds to start this, but I had no clue. And so I invested money, or I spent way more than I should have just trying to get something off the ground because I wanted it to look a certain way. And so I'm interested to know. So when you were at Winston-Salem State, what was your major?
I started out in business until I got into a business calculus class and realized I didn't know how to count. So I switched from business to mass communications. So that's where I got into talking and television and radio and writing and all that kind of stuff. So that was my major. And that's actually where I met my wife, because my wife and I were both going to Winston-Salem State at the same time. So that's where we met, and everything kind of jumped off from Winston-Salem.
So what is your wife majoring in? Because you guys are, and if anybody follows you and knows, you guys are an awesome team. And
thank you.
If you look to the left, she's there, and I listen to her as well, and how she leads off services and things, and you guys are definitely that team. Like I love to see how y'all tag team with each other, and it's hey, we're on the same page.
Right. Well, she started out actually as a nursing major and moved into mass communication as well. And as you can tell from my wife, she very creative. She has no problem with expressing herself or even making other people feel comfortable. And you're absolutely right. She is my partner. Sometimes I'm Michael Jordan and she's Scottie Pippen, and then sometimes I'm Pippen and she's Michael Jordan. It just depends. And it's important to have somebody like that in your life that if you got to shine, they'll let you have it. And then when they get to shine, you let them have it. And it's important to have somebody like that in your life. Because truth be told, you can't do it by yourself. You just cannot do and be as successful as you want to be by yourself. I have a personal issue what people call self-made millionaires. I don't think that's possible, that you did this all by yourself. I don't think that's possible. So when people say I'm self-made, I kind of question it, because you got to have somebody that's in your corner, somebody that knows something that you don't know, or somebody that can hear something that you don't hear, or even see something that you don't see. And that's exactly who my wife is. There'll be things that I'll be doing, and she said, well, have you considered that? Or there'll be even people that I meet, and she will say, babe, I don't know about them. I know they're smiling, and they got, a good, talk to them, but just be careful. And you need somebody like that in your life.
I definitely agree. You definitely need somebody, whether that's a spouse, significant other, a close family, someone that has your best interest at heart and wants to see you succeed. And yours just happens to be your wife. And it's awesome that you guys got to meet each other in college. So, y'all story and your testimony and journey fused together as you become one, create this family, and also, too, just venture forward into other business things. And so the opportunities at Winston-Salem State that led into being with the, what was it, the independent recording company. I think it was out of New Jersey.
That's right. That's right. And they still exist now. Say it again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Talk to me about what. Yeah, no, you're fine. I was saying, talk to me about what happened there, because I think not from there was something that took place, and you got some exposure. You got to take things to another level.
Right. When I first met, her name was Denise Daniels. I first met Denise Daniels. It was many years prior to really working with her. I met her at another event and was kind of following the record company, and I was always interested in the music business, more specifically gospel music at that particular time. So just by chance, and I call it chance now, but I reached out to her and said, hey, look, I really want to get into the business. Would you mind if I did some stuff for you for free? I'm willing to do it for free so I could learn. And she said, absolutely. So I started visiting radio stations. Then I was living in Winston-Salem. So in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Charlotte, Hickory, High Point, and started trying to get her records played, of her artists played. And it really went well. Then I said, well, look, they need to come, some of your artists need to come and do, back then it was called showcases. So she said, well, if you can work out a place for us to do the showcase, we'll absolutely come. So we did a showcase, and she had 2 or 3 of her artists come, went really, really well. About a month or so went by after that, and she said, she called me and said, hey, look, would you be interested in going to what's called GMWA? It's the Gospel Music Workshop of America. It's like the largest gospel association really in the world, because it included record companies and retail stores and radio announcers and all types of people that had to do with the industry. So I was like, absolutely, I'll go. So I ended up going, and the report that got back to her was, who is this guy that's really just talking about your company? He's spreading the record around everywhere. He does a great presentation. So she called and said, hey, well, look, would you want to be a permanent part of this? And I was like, yes, ma'am, I'd love to be a permanent part of it. So once I became a permanent part, I was vice president of marketing and promotion. So I just started picking up the phone. I picked up the phone and called somebody, I don't remember who they were, at the Jay Leno show. One of our artists was from Chicago, and Jay, at that particular time, was doing different shows in different cities. He was taking the Tonight Show into different cities. One of those cities happened to be Chicago, where one of my artists was. So I got on the phone. I talked to an associate producer. From the associate producer, I talked to the producer. From the producer, I talked to the talent manager. From the talent manager, I talked to the executive producer. And lo and behold, they end up on Jay Leno. They did one song going from in between guests. And in between the guests, they performed maybe about 3 or 4 minutes live on the air, and then another 2 or 3 minutes after they went off for commercial. So when they come back from commercial, they sing a little bit more, and then the phone starts jumping off the hook. So from that point, Albertina Walker asked them, would they mind going on tour with her to Italy and France and Greece, I believe it was. And I was a part of setting up that whole tour for them, going overseas. So it really kind of snowballed, and it didn't snowball like one day after the next. It really was over several weeks and several months, but that really was able to propel me into this different stratosphere of talking to other heads of record companies, talking to companies that ran whole record stores, and talking to program directors that control like 20 stations and stuff like that. So that was huge. That was really huge. And from that point, I realized, there are some, or at that time, there were some great individual artists who just needed a shot, just needed to get their stuff out. So that's when I started doing Church Boy Entertainment, which was my management company, and started doing some independent records and getting some other people some record deals and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really fun. It was fun. Hard work, but it was fun.
And so as you're talking, the main thing I keep hearing is you were stepping out on faith. Each time that you did something, and before the connection was even made, or before the solution came about to how we're going to get this music played, how we're going to get this taken care of, you were stepping out on faith. And so that says a lot, because I think not just in everyday life, but also too when it comes to business. Yeah, you want to make some careful moves, but sometimes you do have to step out on faith, and sometimes we have to kind of get out of our own heads, because we can be our biggest obstacle, and we get in the way of ourselves a lot of time. And so it's amazing to hear how you took those steps of faith with God as your guide, and look what happened, and the doors that open from that. So Jay Leonard, that's pretty huge. Like, like when you said it, like I had to kind of smile, like Jay Leonard, like, you know what I'm saying? That's
right. I mean, that was one of those days where. Right. That was one of those days where you're like, okay, I made it. This is it right here. There's nothing else that can happen in my life after this. But you know what? Again, it took faith, because just because the choir was there didn't mean that, the Jay Leno show was going to call them. I had to pick up the phone and actually do it. And many times what you're saying is and even now, I still take steps of faith right now, because there are so many things that are connected to steps of faith. You have to just believe, number one, that God is with you. You have to believe it. As long as you're not defrauding anybody, you're not cheating anybody, you're not breaking any laws, be they spiritual or natural laws. Why wouldn't God help you? So you got to know that God's on your side. But then number two, you got to have some belief in yourself, your own ability, your own creativity, your own ingenuity. You have to have some belief that you have what it takes. Otherwise, you're always going to doubt yourself. And not to say you won't at some point, but you have to have some very basic understanding about who you are and what you bring to the table, because everybody has something to offer. I don't care. There are 7.5 billion people in the world. So there is somebody out there that needs to hear what you have to say, that want to read your book, that want to listen to your music, they want to experience your ministry, they want to experience your radio show. So don't think because people at the house don't like it or don't get it. There are 7.5 billion people in the world, and out of that 7.5 billion people, somebody's going to say yes. A whole bunch of somebodies are going to say yes. But you got to step out there in faith. There were times when I needed to be in a particular city. I didn't know how I was going to get to that city. I mean, one time I literally went to the blood bank where you could sell your blood for the plasma and sold some of my blood so I could put gas in the car to get to where I needed to get to have the meeting, to get the record played or to get the engagement or whatever the case may have been. But it all takes faith, and you cannot allow people that are doing nothing with their life to tell you can't do it. You just cannot. You got to surround yourself with individuals that have either they are moving in the same direction or they've already done it, and they're willing to open doors or give you advice and show you how to do it. Because the people that are just sitting at the house not doing anything, they are the people not to listen to.
It's amazing that you say that, because a lot of times that's exactly what happens. The mind is such a powerful tool and such a powerful thing. Like everything that we do today, and the cars we use, everything, the houses we live in, um, they were all seeds. They were all thoughts. They were all ideas, and then they came to
Yeah.
life. Like God has definitely taken us to many different levels, technology-wise, and with electronics and everything. And so, social media now plays a big part of everything that you're saying. And
That's right.
it used to be that we could just sit. You can kind of pick and choose. If you go to church, you can get the word. If you go to your Bible study, or you have that strong family foundation, that was okay, and that was just enough. But now, with the way we're so connected with everything, there's so much coming in. Like there's so much that's placed. There's so much that's placed in front of us, and there's something that you do in particular with your Facebook page that's just awesome and amazing. You sit back and you have chats. You're empowering others. You're motivational, and you do this on a routine basis. And so, Beast Mode Mindset, even though we're on the show tonight, is actually a group, a Facebook group, and inside it's an open group. It's a community, and just like you were saying, there are those that sit there and say, okay, well, that's not good, or I don't like that, you shouldn't have did that. And so that's not it, though. There's somebody out there that needs to hear it, needs to feel it, and everything else. And so that's what mindset does. And so I know I share a lot of your inspirational messages inside the group, and you have a presence. You have a presence there as well. And one thing I can say that's always great, it doesn't matter if it's the Well or Beast Mode Mindset, your personal Facebook page, you're always, if I can help, if you need, any type of positivity, like whether it's day, night, 2 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the evening, you're gonna be there pumping it out. And once again, I have to go back to something that we were talking about not too long ago. Your wife is a big part of that as well, and I see you guys as a team and doing it as well, which I think is awesome as husband and wife, but as parents as well, because I understand you have 2 sons, correct?
Yes, I have 2 sons. Yes, Charles Michael, who is 24, and Chris, who is 32. Yeah, Chris is 32. He'll be 33 in March. But that's what you're saying is huge when it comes to mindset, and even what you're doing. What you're doing started out as an idea. Just like, Apple started out as an idea. Microsoft started out as an idea. And what God has gifted us to do, He has gifted us to be able to take something in our head and that's in our head and put it in our hands. That's a blessing from God. So there are so many people that are listening to you and me right now that have great ideas, but they let those ideas keep moving. Ideas don't die. They just pass to the next person that's willing to complete the idea, embrace the idea. So like you have done with Beast Mode, there are people out there who need to continue to hear that what you're doing is legitimate, what you're doing is doable. If you just keep working it, it's going to work out. But so many people will discount what God has given them. And this is not just outside of the church, but because I'm in the church so much, I see it even in the church, that people that name the name of Christ and people that say they believe God, God will give them the answer to their prayer in the form of an idea. But we'll discount it and we'll pass it off to somebody else. We'll say, I'm not great enough, I don't know how, I don't have the money, I'm not smart enough, I'm too busy. We'll come up with all these other excuses for not doing it. And then going back to God again and saying, you never answered my prayer. Yes, He did. He gave you an idea. He gave you a way to get out of it. And many times, and Henry Ford said this, many times people miss success because it comes dressed in overalls and it looks like work. just because
Right.
just because he gave me the idea doesn't mean I don't have to work it. You want a house, he'll put you in the forest and say, okay, here you go, build you a house. So people just aren't willing to do exactly some of the things that you're doing. One of the things we even taught our sons is that don't wait for somebody else to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to call you back. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you yes. While you're waiting on that yes, go ask somebody else. Go talk to somebody else. And then, just like you were saying too, we here in my home, we pride positivity. We don't do a lot of arguing and fussing. We don't get into a whole bunch of drama, what this person said about that person and all that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, my wife has this rule that you don't call with any negativity before 10 o'clock. Before 10 o'clock a.m., no negativity at all. If you can't call and say, how you doing, hope you have a great day, don't call. So everybody in our family knows she's not hearing it. We're not accepting it. We're not even going to pay attention to it until after 10 o'clock. And then even after then, it's real hard. It's got to be something really, really bad for us to sit down and have to listen to a whole bunch of yada yada about, nonsense.
I love that rule. I really do. I kind of have I'm kind of set up that way myself, and so it becomes like, okay, we can't call, Crystal, and some of my family, but we can't call Crystal and start because we already know what she's going to say. We already know what the deal is, but a lot of that I adapted from my father, and with him being in the service, when I talk to him, we talk. You talk to him with solutions, not issues and problems, but so when we're having a conversation, he's like, okay, so did you hear what you just said? Okay, so you needed me for what? And then it's like, you're right.
That's a military guy right there.
You and put it back to me, and he's like, okay, thank you for the call. And but it's funny. That's how we are, and I, I am my father's child. What can I say? And so I operate that way as being a parent as well. And so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to break. Once we come back, we're going to dig in just a little bit more because there's a few other things, and I want to talk to you about the well and what's going on in Raleigh and
okay.
Have it correct, church where music is still very much so present. So
I'd
like to know a little bit more about that. But also, too, I know you got some awesome tips just for us young adults, us millennials, on how to be successful, some things to keep in mind as we, push forth and we take this, these thoughts and turn them into so much more that God has given us. So we're gonna go to break, and we have a new song tonight, which I'm so glad to have this song played. Peace Up Mine says we like having hype sessions when we go to break, and so for December there was Motivation with G Bless, and he's a Christian rap artist. So we have another Christian rap artist, and I'll reveal him later. And so his song is I Ain't Turning Back. And since it's 2018, we're not turning back to 2017. We're not turning back to what we did before or anything else. So we're going to be right back right after this.
Sounding like an anthem, man. Them horns got me feeling real heroic right now, baby. Yes, this my 300 music. I'm about to get my Leonidas on, fam. Let's ride then, baby. You ride with me, baby. Let's get it. I got my full on, my head to the sky. I'm going in the battle with my own. Let's get it, man. High and I'm through playing games. You can see, baby, mine. And you can go and ask anybody. I'm a real and I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. It ain't nothing back. I ain't turning back. You ready, fam? I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. No, I'm on my Luke 9. I'm daily dying. Holy Spirit, keep your boy while I'm on the grind. Full armor on, cause I know them darts flying. And I'm through playing games, homie, I ain't lying. I'm walking out the way that I had as a juvenile. But this the plan that God had before I was a child. I'm walking in my destiny, and he protecting me. I'm eating at a table prepared for my enemies. That's why, homie, I ain't turning back. You hear me? I ain't turning back. Only thing I'm turning back, homie, is my fitted hat. So go ahead and get your gat. You can go and cock it back when Christ rose up off the grave, and he coming back. And one day I'ma rise with him, meet up in the skies with him. That's why I'm willing to live and even die with him. Brethren all over the world, my horns high with him. Even if it means I death, you know we ride with him. Yeah, my head to the sky. I'm going in the battle with my horns up high, and I'm through playing games. You can see it in my eyes, and you can go and ask anybody. I'm a ride, and I ain't turning back. 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 No.
Young boy flame in the church, about 17. Down the street, dirty things. Down the street, murder scene. So our whole regime hit the knees and we went witnessing. Our plan, lift the king. God's plan is redeemed. He brought my homie back. Now we back on the track, running the same race. We on the same track for the same God who resurrected his son. Reflect on what he's done. Ain't no backwards to run. Where will we go? Back to our grave. Leave a castle for some shackles and be enslaved. They don't make no sense. No offense with the statement, man. No offense. That's just like a Jew begging for concentration camps. That's just like us black begging for segregation bags. That's insanity, beautiful Christianity, and true to the planet, removing all our vanity. God forgives, see flaming things. We got our full on.
My head to the sky. I'm going in the battle with my horns up high, and I'm through playing games. You can see it in my eyes, and you can go and ask anybody. I'm a ride, and I ain't turning back. 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 Let's get it in, man. I ain't turning back. No, they said it wasn't worth it. That this was worthless. Ain't nothing but hypocrites sitting up in them churches. Never. But I went to God's house and I found my purpose. Now my life's a sacrifice, fam, I'm living worship. Ain't nothing behind but death for me and enemies. That's it. A cemetery or a penitentiary. That's it. That ain't the way I want you to remember me. Never. Now they think of my Lord when they mention me. This is rider music, survivor music. And I wasn't forced to do this, I was built to do this. And I know it's war ahead, but God gon' get me through it. And I brought my cross with me, gone and nailed me to it. Cause I ain't turning back. I don't care if they got 50 ratchets at me, about to knock off my fitted hat. I ain't turning back. I don't care if they got 50 ratchets on me, gone and knock off my fitted hat. My full on, my head to the sky. I'm going in the battle with my horns up high, and I'm through playing games. You can see it in my eyes, and you can go and ask anybody. I'm a ride, and I ain't turning back. 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 I got my full on, my head to the sky. I'm going in the battle with my horns up. And when it's war time, playing games, soldiers go to the front lines, and you can go and ask. But this one war, we don't gotta worry about losing. I ain't turning back. Because it's already I ain't turning back. I ain't turning back. My God gon' win. I ain't turning back. That's why we go in. I ain't turning back. No.
All right, and so we are back from break. This Pastor Charles Johnson, you still with us?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I like that song.
I like it too. That's one of our favorite things we like to do here on B Smoke Mindsets. And so when we go to break, we like to have a little hype session, and it's a little bit different, but I feel a lot of times it's necessary that we, listen to different things, and positivity comes in different forms and different fashions. And so I know a lot of times what you're aware of when it comes to music, because you have a background in the music industry as well, is, you know, sometimes rap gets looked at in a bad way, and that's not completely fair, you know, because there's a whole nother level and a whole nother side to it out there. And so there are a lot of actual Christian, you know, gospel rap artists out there that put, and there's a whole world of music that a lot of times doesn't necessarily get heard like that. And that's one of my favorite songs. I can identify with quite a few things that he kind of highlights within that song. And so it's really major for me to always remind myself, you know, I'm not turning back. I'm not turning back to, you know, the negativity and into the mindset I had from last year, the day before. And we have to remind ourselves, because let's just be honest, just because January 1st, 2018 hit, everybody's mind didn't hit reset. People go to sleep and wake up, we're going to hit reset daily. And so, you know, that's just one of the few songs that, you know, if I'm in the car and, you know, I have my kids are a little bit younger. They're under 12, and so they can listen to those things. We have conversation about it, but it's something that's on their level. Like they understand the beat, they understand the, like, you know, and so I give them positivity in different ways, just even outside of the church. So I'm glad you like that song. You have to tune in with us every week. There's going to be different songs, different things coming up, and so as we go forward, I definitely, you know, can't wait to come visit you at the Well, and also come out to some Beast Mode Mindset events, because we're going to do some live hype sessions, with different music and different artists, and so definitely can't wait. 2018 is an awesome year, especially this summer. There's so much coming up in the store, and as, of course, the show goes on, I'll continue to highlight, and we'll keep that stuff posted to the page as well. But we're going to pick it back up and get back into you, because we left off, so we understand the transition from childhood to adulthood, how you met your lovely wife, how you stepped out on stage, you and you put in that work behind the scenes. How you did. There's a lot of things that you actually did or were a part of that, you know, you didn't get paid for. And so you know, sometimes you know, some of the younger crew, the favorite thing is the struggle is real. And so the struggle is real. Any time that you're doing anything, and you're starting out, I completely agree. Everybody starts at zero, and the struggle is definitely real, whether it's in the form of needing that financial breakthrough to go ahead and get it started, or just getting out your own way and breaking through that mindset of everybody else. And sometimes it comes off as a generational thing, because it seems like, okay, well, my parents didn't do nothing, my grandparents didn't do that, my great-great-grandparents didn't do nothing, the ones before them didn't do nothing, so I got this brilliant idea, but the chances of me doing it ain't going to be nothing. That's not true.
Yeah,
we can always
that's not true.
Generational curses, generational mindset, and push forward.
Right.
So I want to know a little bit more about church boy music. Like, you touched on it, but I definitely want to know more, because you were talking about the artists and they needed a shot, and church boy music is still around today, correct?
Right, that's right. Actually, the first thing we did was a compilation CD called Signs of Things to Come. And the reason I called it that was because everybody on that particular record were basically unknown. So they were like, what's coming down the line? This is where we're going. And on that record, I had a young guy. He was from High Point. Young guy from High Point. He was probably at that time 13, 14 years old, but he was a rapper, and he was on that record. During that time, my wife, who does spoken word, she was on that record. So all the things that are kind of popular and okay and becoming more okay now were actually on Church Boy, and actually on that CD rather. So now there has been talk. Because I was able to establish some great relationships in the industry, and especially with radio, I get a call every so often about when are you going to do the next thing, or when is the next record coming out, or look, I got this great artist, you need to hear him, that kind of thing. So it's not dead at all. Church Boy is not dead at all. And it's amazing. I sit back and I listen to, like, the gospel rap that's out now. Because when I was coming through, that was wrong. You know, you were not saved if you had anybody in your church, even if it was gospel rap. If they were singing anything other than gospel choir, quartet, something like that, you were wrong. But see, now it's such a blessing because, and there was no space for it on radio. No space for gospel rap on radio. Very little space. One time there was like gospel jazz and the Jeff Majors guy playing the harp, and there was very little space for it. But now, because things have changed, and people constantly say, "Well, it's going in the wrong direction." I don't think so, because when my parents were young, it was James Brown. You're wrong for listening to James Brown, and so now it's Kanye and it's Lil Wayne and it's the Amigos and it's Kendrick Lamar, and so everything has its place. So we as the body of Christ have to recognize how things are changing and then use it so we can continue to push being positive, continue to push the message of the kingdom, and bring those people that are used to that sound in, because God is still God. He's still God, and the Bible talks about he that is wise knows how to win. Knows how to win souls. So instead of fighting it, instead of saying that Facebook is the devil, no, it's not. Learn it, understand it. I tell pastors a lot all the time. Your church is not the only place where you can minister. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's Snapchat. There's so many other places. But if you think that everything outside of the pulpit inside your church is the devil, then you're not going to see a whole lot of success. You're going to stay pretty much right where you are. I personally believe that Jesus would have a Facebook page.
I can see that.
He will be doing Facebook
Live. I might be a little nervous. I might not send him a friend request. I wouldn't want to send him a friend request sometimes, right? I'd be like, okay, like he doing too much. Like he up here and I'm down here. Okay, let me just stay to the side and I'll
I know, right?
Something. That's how that'll go.
Right. And how upset would you be if he denied your friend request? Wouldn't you? I would feel horrible. Jesus denied my friend request. I done sent him a friend request 6 months ago. He still ain't accepted.
But you know what? It's funny that you say that, because it's not even just the denial part. And when we even talk about the context of Facebook, there are a lot of people that like to watch, but they don't interact either.
That's right. Yeah.
So then you start thinking about how many of those, if we start breaking down the different viewers and the different types, you start seeing there are those that watch, but they never interact, don't like nothing, don't this or that, but they know they can tell you exactly everything that's going on because they're looking. And so if Jesus
right.
on Facebook page, there'll be those that, and we can take it back to the Bible, because there were those that they definitely talked. There was whispers and talks amongst each other.
That's
they
right.
They up to none of his teaching.
They
were still in a whole other country, still running their, running their mouth, so to speak.
Right.
And it's like that even when it comes to business. So we can
right.
pull that concept on around. When you're starting out with things, and you're like, hey, nobody likes what I'm posting, nobody likes what I'm doing, and they get word, and it's like, somebody can approach you and say, oh, well, I think this is that and the third. Oh, well, I never knew you saw it because I didn't know you liked it. You didn't comment or nothing. Like, I would have never knew. And so people, watching, and they're sitting in the background, and there are definitely people that wish you well, but sometimes there are those that, I'm not going to say they don't wish you well, but they don't expect much from you because they feel like they know where you came from or know your past or things
right.
that you've done or that you're doing. So they don't even put any expectation on you at all or even
right.
think that you're going to be equivalent or that you're going to excel above where you came from or anything that you've been through. And not realizing that, a lot of times the trials we go through are temporary. Those situations are
That's right.
temporary. And
That's
even with
right.
businesses, they go through their up and downs, their highs and lows, and the start may be rough, but when you pick up momentum and you pick it up in the right way, it definitely opens doors, not just for you as a person, but it opens doors for you and your business. And, there were some things we highlighted before, like the break. We were talking about, having that team and having positivity, and yours definitely starts in the household, which I think that's so great and major, because it if you can't do it at home, you can't do it nowhere else. And I see
That's
it all
right.
the time. And
That's right.
You gotta a lot of times speak life and speak things over yourself and over your household, as you're going forth and you're speaking to others. And so I'm the number one person that, I do other business things as well, and I'll say when somebody goes like, oh, you did that great, or I'm glad to see that you've done that, I'll go, yeah, but I have a team. I have a whole set of mentors that are on the background things, and they listen and watch what I do, and they provide feedback. They, they go, well, this is good, and they keep my mindset right. And they're outside of my parents, who are awesome team, as well. And so it's just like, hey, you should think about this. Hey, you should think about that. But your team or the people that provide positivity to you don't have to be blood related to you. And so
that's right. And sometimes
you gotta go out there and do that.
Right. And sometimes it's those that aren't your family are the best people to surround yourself with, because the people, when I coach people, I have a few coaching clients. When I coach them, I tell them up front, I'm nice and I'm friendly, but I'm not a friend. Because a friend is that person that will sometimes let you slide because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They want you to be okay. They don't want to damage the relationship. They still want you to continue to be their friend. So they may not say exactly what needs to be said. But myself, I'm not your friend, so I'm going to say, no, that's an excuse. Or you didn't try hard enough with that. Or, well, why are you crying over that? Okay, wipe your nose, let's get back to work. That's what most people need in their life other than a family person. It's very rare you can find somebody in your family that'll do that. So you're absolutely right. You have to go outside of your the people that you know and are familiar with you, and find individuals. Number one, find individuals that will not be intimidated by your success. When you become successful, they won't be intimidated. Number two, somebody that's already done what you want to do, so they can show you their mistakes. They can show you how to do it better. Then number three, you're going to need somebody in your life that has a fresh perspective. They're not caught up in the old way of doing things. They're not afraid of something new like rap or hip-hop, gospel hip-hop. They're not afraid of something called Facebook and the internet and going Facebook Live. So if you can find those kinds of people, you have a lot better chance of success, because everybody, again, needs somebody. LeBron James needs a coach. Steph Curry needs a coach. Everybody needs somebody else. So it's extremely important. If you're going to be in business, find somebody that's already done it, even if they're not in your city, because you can pick up a book, you can go on YouTube, find videos, and these people can be your mentors. They can show you, tell you, tell them to get. You can get their books. Be willing to invest. Don't expect everything for free. Don't expect somebody to give you their book for free or give you their online course for free. Be willing to invest in the things that mean something to you, because you can't get out what you didn't put in. So if you put in free, you're going to get some low-level information. You're going to get some low-level. It might be okay and get you to a certain point, but if you really want to excel, you can only get back out what you've put in. So if there's any kind of tip to a business person that's listening, that would be it. Surround yourself with individuals that are not necessarily your family. Expand your understanding, your learning, by investing in yourself, reading books, being a part of programs, all that kind of stuff.
I think those two tips are very major tips, and so people have to. Your nickname is the successologist, and even all the great things you talked about before the break. There's just even more when it comes to you. Like I said, you doing your motivational videos and words and everything on Facebook, sometimes daily and sometimes weekly. But you also too, you're an author, and if I have it right, it's I Am Sam, 10 Keys to Success, 10 Keys to Success from Green Eggs and Ham, and then
That's right.
affirmation, the power of words. So you have those two, and so pretty much people are able to reach you almost on any platform, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yeah.
You definitely have a social media presence, and I think it's awesome, and it's consistent across the board anytime you go to anything that you do and that you're involved in. And if I have it correct, you launched recently your Mountain Movers Academy, and that offers like some coaching and seminars and public speaking for this generation, that next generation of leaders and just entrepreneurs and executives, those that are coming up. And so I definitely want people like Charles Johnson Page II, type it in on Facebook, and you're immediately going to be plugged into some awesome things and material just on how to be better, and then they can follow and see. Because you're not just en route, you're here and you're there. You and your wife as well. You are at different seminars and different things going on. And so people should always take time to invest. Even if it's a seminar that costs $10 or $20, you're going to go there and leave more than with $10 or $20 worth of knowledge.
I promise you will.
You may just get that key of something that's going to, hey, that's exactly what I was missing, so I can go back and get things started for myself. Right. And so I will be sharing a lot of your events between the page, my personal page, which is Chrissy Renee, the Beast Mode Mindset page, and also the Beast Mode Mindset talk show page. So that way people will be able to connect and follow you. And like I said, you never want to miss a video. You can, and the great thing about Facebook is you can always go back in and tune in and just replay it. Because I find myself there are times that I go back and kind of replay some of your things. So I might be at work, because let's just say I work for myself, but I still hit the clock right now. But that's not the ultimate goal. So
right.
I'm glad that you were able to join in with us tonight. I definitely want to take time to celebrate one other thing when it comes to you, because you posted about this maybe about 24, I don't want to say 48 hours, but you just finished your master's in divinity from Liberty University.
Yes. I officially have my master's of divinity degree with concentration in leadership. Woo! Awesome. Done. Finished. Thank you very much.
I felt the relief when you said, "Oh, yeah," like I understand. School.
Yes.
The school.
The struggle is real.
With masters, yes, the struggle is definitely real. It takes a lot to complete those tasks, and with you and the well. So we got about just a couple minutes left. So I just want you to go ahead and let us know let everyone know once again how they can reach you, and let us know how they can reach the well or join in with the well and your time of service.
Okay. Our times of service at the well are every Sunday morning at 10:30, and you can go to our website to find out more about us, Well Church Inc., wellchurchinc.com. If you want to talk to me personally about any of your goals, anything you're looking at as far as your goals are concerned, you can call me. You can call me at 919-228-9679, 919-228-9679.
Awesome. And can't wait this is 2018, and I can't wait to have you back, because we're going to talk some more business. And we're going to discuss. We're going to get into some of your book as well. So I can't wait to dig into that. So we're definitely going to see. We're definitely going to see you back and have you with us. And so This has been a wrap. 2018, the first show of the year. Beast Mode Mindset.
Yes.
Let's get it. Let's go. You guys have a great night. Thank you, Pastor Charles Johnson Page, and thank you to your lovely wife, Pamela Johnson. And look forward to seeing you guys soon. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.